Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today, I shall continue from the fourth episode of the book The Truth, written by Robert G. Ingersoll, an orator and American writer. Intelligent people would ask not for rewards but reasons. Only hypocrites would ask for the money. Yet, according to the New Testament, Christ offered a reward to those who would believe, and this promised reward was to take the place of evidence. When Christ made this promise, he forgot, ignored, or held in contempt the rectitude of a brave, free, and natural soul. The declaration that salvation is the reward for belief is inconsistent with mental freedom and could have been made by no man who thought that evidence sustained the slightest relation to belief. Every sermon in which men have been told that they could save their souls by believing has been an injury. Such sermons dull the moral sense and subvert the true conception of virtue and duty. The true man, when asked to believe, asks for evidence. The true man who asks another to believe offers evidence. But this is not all. In spite of the threat of eternal pain of the promise of everlasting joy, unbelievers increased and the churches took another step. The churches said to the unbelievers, the heretics, although our God will punish you forever in another world, in his prison, the doors of which open only to receive, we, unless you believe, will torment you now. And then the members of these churches, led by priests, popes, and clergymen, sought out their unbelieving neighbors, chained them in dungeons, stretched them on racks, crushed their bones, cut out their tongues, extinguished their eyes, flayed them alive, and consumed their poor bodies in flames. All this was done because these Christian savages believed in the dogma of eternal pain. Because they believed that heaven was the reward for belief. So, believing, they were the enemies of free thought and speech. They cared nothing for conscience, nothing for the veracity of the soul, nothing for the manhood of a man. In all ages, most priests have been heartless and relentless. They have calumniated and tortured. In defeat, they have crawled and whined. In victory, they have killed. The flower of pity never blossomed in their hearts and in their brain. Justice never held aloft the scales. Now they are not as cruel. They have lost their power, but they are still trying to accomplish the impossible. They fill their pockets with fool's gold and think they are rich. They stuff their minds and mistakes and think they are wise. They console themselves with legends and myths, have faith in fiction and forgery, give their hearts to ghosts and phantoms, and seek the aid of the non-existent. They put a monster, a master, a tyrant in the sky, and seek to enslave their fellow men. They teach the clinging virtues of serfs. They abhor the courage of manly men. They hate the man who thinks. They long for revenge. They warm their hands at the imaginary fights of hell. I show them that hell does not exist, and they denounce me for destroying their consolation. Horace Greeley, as the story goes, one cold day went into a country store, took a seat by the stove, unbuttoned his coat, and spread out his hands. In a few minutes, a little boy who clerked in the store said, "Mr. Greeley, there isn't no fire in that stove." You do little rascal, said Greeley. What did you tell me for? I was getting real warm. So, he gave an best example for the Christs who are teaching the ideas of non-existent. We shall continue the remaining in the next episode. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to this channel Positive Atheism and activate the bell icon.